I'm good, Tamara. Thanks so much for having me. Delighted to be here. So sorry, sorry, Tamara. I'm good, Dr. T. I'm good. Delighted to be here. Thanks for having me. It's a great question. At the core, I identify as incredibly human. I I've recently found out that I'm neurodiverse. I've got ADD and I'm autistic, and also my daughter has ADHD, and but because of that, I am committed to helping people live the most human lives they can, and that is why I believe that from both a corporate and personal point of view, AI can improve cognitive infrastructure for individuals and organizations. Yeah, we help organizations build infrastructure into their teams that allow people to focus on the most uniquely human tasks within their organizations. So using AI as agents to support individuals and teams to make decisions and actually do things. Yes, absolutely. And the Holy Smokes moment was live on stage. I was delivering a keynote to a large publisher in Europe, and we ran a competition for each of the people who are watching to talk about how agentic AI and an AI platform could help them. We we judged them. We judged the use cases, and then I built it live on stage in my platform and made it work and completely solve their problem. And holy smokes was definitely said more than once. Yeah. In this, it was marketing. So we took a marketing use case, which was about delivering the right content to the right consumer in the right voice, and we used the platform and our way of making agents to deliver it quicker, still maintain the humanity, and still be safe for an organization to deploy in their organization. Right. I think that's absolutely right. And I think what we're seeing is that I think the way that the world of content and publishing is moving, there is so much more desire for more purely human content. And that's not only just for the humans, that's also for the LLMs, because the large language models don't want to feed on their own food. They want to find stuff that's genuinely human so they can bring differentiation. So it's not about AI is not about replacing humanity, it's about augmenting. Yeah, great question. And I think the brain is a great analogy for what the Galahad products do. So what we do is we go into companies and look at the workflows that exist within their companies. And we have a proprietary framework called Ikigai, which is based on the Japanese concept of finding humanity. And what this does is it takes these workflows and breaks them down into what should be human and what should be AI. And it starts to build those workflows so that humans and AIs are working in concert and starts making decisions and wiring into platforms. So, for example, for marketing, into a Google Ads platform, or if, for example, for finance, into a billing system or a rules engine. So it helps make people better. And one cool little tool we've got is when I'm pitching to CEOs, is I ask them for their job description and I run it through the framework, automated, and then I build them a suite of agents that can sit around them and allow them to do the things that they really want to be doing as a human. Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. And and really getting that up first when talking about our platform. This is not really about a platform. It's about helping you be better. What can and that's why we use cognitive scaffolding as a term, and also and making sure it's not just about automation. It's about helping you think differently and about being slightly non unconventional, because AI can help us do that as well. Our ideal customer is a B2C organization that is reaching out to people, that also has large processes that have been defined by legacy, or is a startup that is looking to build those processes without necessarily building a complicated org structure. So yeah, that's that. It's a great question. It's a great question. And I think it changes every day, I think, because the great thing about AI is there's such a low barrier to entry in terms of people can just start playing with it. But the most amazing thing I've ever seen my platform do is we have a part of our platform that it looks out for shadow AI, so AI happening in organizations that shouldn't be happening. So people uploading things to their own chat GPT. And and we've developed a system that we're still in beta with, to be fair. But what it can do is it can crawl, it can insert what are called canaries into company content that you can then query ChatGPT. And if that canary appears, then you know that that data has left the building. We did that with a large FMCG client, and that meant they needed not to lock down the use of AI, but make it easier for their staff to use their own systems. Fast moving consumer goods. So CPG. An example would be Unilever. It wasn't Unilever, but an example would be Unilever. Mm. I'm thinking about it all the time. I am a very skeptical technologist, and I don't, I don't work in innovation theatre. I work in what is real. And the phrase that I use the most when I'm talking to my team is just because we could doesn't mean we should. And I think that's really important, is to make sure, and that's it really. Like it's about maintaining that humanity. If my platform, if a client comes to me and says, I need to build this in the platform, and our framework says it is better for a human to do it, we will not do it. And we've got in our framework, we've got the four H's of humanity, which are: do you need to be here? So do you need to be present? Does the process need hunger? So does it need resilience? In which case you need a human. Does it need heart, empathy? If so, you need a human. And does it need a hunch? Does it need instinct? And if those four are part of it, it's not for our platform to do. Here, here. Yes. Thank you, Dr. T. That's very, very kind of you. Absolutely, and I think what's even more powerful about that, Dr. T, is it is much more with AI and the way that we can build with what's coming out with Claude Code and things like that. It is very easy to make a bad decision, and it is even easier to make that bad decision quickly. So making sure people are making the right decision is paramount. I'm not going to say that we're all going to be listening to classical music and being on holiday all the time, but I think it will make people happier. I think where this really came from is me. I was in a very big corporate job. I was global CTO of one of the largest agencies in the world. And when I discovered my neurodiversity, it began to be very clear that the world was not built for me, and the way that I thought. So I have tried to build, I first built the operating system of Galahad around me to work for me and with me. And now that's made me happier and healthier. And that is what I want to make us at work and at home, using AI to make us doing the things that we really want to do, the human things, the things that make us better. Mm. Yeah, yeah. I think that's really, really insightful, Dr. T. I think I didn't realize that I was unhappy, I think. And I mean unhappy. I don't mean unhappy in a I mean more unhappy as in a deep dissatisfaction, but didn't realize it was a thing. And I felt that emotional overload at least a couple of times a year, and it hurts. It really hurts. And I I spoke to a psychotherapist, and had therapy before, but they said, look, you should go and see if you've got ADHD. And I was like, okay, I will. And I got formally diagnosed, and I worked really hard on Galahad, really, really hard. But I also worked really hard on myself, because I think that's not necessarily going to the gym, but going to the gym of the mind. I've done a lot of work on understanding how I think, and also how I communicate to other people, and also helping other people communicate with me. Because the more we know each other, the more we can know other people. So the more we know ourselves, the more we can know other people. Completely. And, I going back to 2030, I believe in our platform can be behind every great person is a great tool as well. And I think that's how we should be thinking about it. And for example, I always miss appointments. I'm surprised I was marginally on time for this, but 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 my personal Galahad platform knows that, so it holds me accountable, not just with a reminder, but with various different ways of nudging and prompting and making sure that I'm in the right headspace, because that makes things better. Exactly that. Exactly that. So we can have agents that support, and we can have agents that challenge and bring opinion, and that's what we generally do. So in that CEO example, I spent an hour with them interviewing them. I asked them for their job description, and a week of their calendar. I gave all of that to our diagnostic framework, and it built exactly that. It saw the gaps. You shouldn't be in that meeting. That shouldn't even be a meeting. There should be an agent here that does this for you. But yes, a trusted group of advisors is definitely something that we built, and that, by the way, is not to replace other advisors. It is to give what is missing. Yeah. So you might not necessarily want to employ someone that disagrees with you all the time, but you might be able to use an agent to do that, and not feel as if someone's always telling you you're wrong. I would say B2C. I think it's marketing, um, marketing, sales, and also complex regulated environments. So get more like gaming, or 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 law and publishing, perhaps. We feel that Galahad is industry agnostic in the things that it can do. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Provided ethically those were, things that everybody in the team was comfortable with. There is, they market themselves. They're a highly regulated industry. So it's a conversation that could be had. Yep. Go to galahadgroup.co.uk and take our Ikigai diagnostic for tasks, your company, and your role to find out what the platform or wider AI can do to make your life more human. AI could solve the problem of allowing neurodiverse individuals to lead happier, more inclusive and included lives. And doing that would not only improve life for people with neurodiverse conditions, but it would also improve life for everybody. 'Using long articles on X to fool LLMs. Most underhyped AI breakthrough is industrialization of AI, actually using AI to do things. On the future, nine, 1984. My biggest, boldest prediction is that we will have digital avatars attending and acting as us in meetings in the next 18 months. Yeah, my LinkedIn profile is Ross Barnes. I can be got on ross at galahadgroup.co.uk. And I'm pretty easily found if you put minus baseball in your Google query, because there's a very famous baseball player called Ross Barnes. Absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me, Dr. T.